Good evening, race fans, and welcome in to Kansas Speedway once again for the third time this week. It's been absolutely insanely fun for the first couple of races. Of course, last night was an absolute barn burner. Tonight, we expect no different for the NORA Cup Series. That's right, it's Tuesday night here on VirtualRacing.Network. It's time for the 2023 playoffs and the NORA Cup Series. 48 laps in the first stage, 99 in the second, 160 laps overall. Hello again, everybody. I'm Trevor Greenfield, and I'll be calling all the shots tonight. Alongside me will be none other than team owner here in the NORA Cup Series and veteran sim racer, also a one-time winner here at the Kansas Speedway, Christian Snyder. Christian, welcome back. And what did we learn the past couple of nights? What's going to transfer over to tonight, or do you think it's going to be completely different here tonight with the NORA Cup Series?
I believe this is going to be completely different from the past two races we've seen this week. I went out there and I pulled a Jeff Burton. I got into our VirtualRacing.Network car, went around the track a few times. Let's just say that car is now destroyed. It's a tough track here this evening. It's very tight for some reason. I was not expecting it to be so tight, but I guess it's because it's pretty cold. So if it was a hot, slick track, this car would be a little bit loose. But it's kind of cold out there, 72 degrees. So it was spicy out there, I'll tell you that.
Well, and honestly, that's what we were seeing the first couple of races here this week. It was maybe tending to be a tiny bit loose, but it was pretty neutral. So if tonight it's playing a little bit tight for these race cars, well, everybody's going to have to back off just a little bit, manage that throttle, and see if they can get through it. Now, of course, here tonight it is the playoffs, and we're ready to roll. After 29 races, here you can see on your screen, it is none other than... Actually, we have the owner standings. Let's take a look at the driver standings real quick. There we go. Vincent Arthur, who takes that win last week in the first round of the playoffs, and therefore guarantees himself getting into the round of 12, which is coming up before you know it. Dustin Kleba in second place, Ronnie Norman in third, Ryan Bird in fourth place, and Brady Motes in fifth. And then you see a little bit of changes happening. Kind of surprising that after an entire race, the top five still remains exactly the same in their positions. But Matthew George jumping up a spot, Cody Height losing a few positions, Jake Christenberry as well. And there you can see Joey Stats, Josh Curry, and Anthony Mackie still in the top 12. But you see the other drivers that are on the outside looking in, and they're going to have to do some work tonight to get in if they're here, which that's been one of the issues, is people having other things to do in this world and not necessarily being able to make it in for all of the playoff rounds and all of the other rounds. But let's go ahead and take a real quick look at the owner standings as they are, and still no changes in the top 7. Looks to be pretty solid for Flatline and JRC at the top. Then Harper Motorsports gaining a couple of spots, so good for them. Nightmare Motorsports dropping a couple of spots as well. So with that, I believe they're qualifying out there. So let's take a look at who's putting in the hot laps. And it looks like Eric Sable so far, no question about it. He's been able to do some magic things behind the wheel. Chad Engel getting back behind the wheel for Brian Powell Motorsports, one of the many September 11th tributes here in the NORA Cup Series tonight.
I tell you what, Sable, I talked to him before the race, and he's not loving this car. He's a bigger fan of those trucks. He says these are real big, heavy, and he doesn't like them. He likes the trucks because they're more fun to drive.
Well, certainly fun is a big component of it. You don't necessarily get on with every car that you're going to drive out there, but some of these drivers do. They enjoy the challenge between the various cars, but you definitely do side with one or the other. And There you see Brady Motes, one of the championship drivers in the field, ready to wreck racing with a very patriotic-inspired theme for tonight. I mean, that is the American flag over the entire car. That's pretty cool looking, if I do say so myself. And Nick Geilis out there tonight. What's he driving? He's got the 3 Golf car. Pretty cool throwback paint scheme for Geilis. Struggled last night and as a result did not make the Truck Series next round of the playoffs, but tonight out there racing for owners points. How about Vincent Arthur? Is he going to make... Where is Vincent? There, he's just getting onto the track. So Vincent, different paint scheme this week. Last week's one-off paint scheme. Hopefully that sponsor wants to return, because they got all their money's worth. Vincent taking the very first round of the playoffs with that paint scheme, and now this week back in the Pepsi car. We'll see whether or not he can actually get in a full qualifying effort. I see, looks like Cody Height unable to get in a solid lap. He might have had an incident on his qualifying. Adam Kulikowski, Matthew George, Cody Reeder, Christopher Thomas, Jake Christenberry, all of these drivers not going to take a qualifying time here tonight. Also looks like
some of them had penalties. I know my driver Christopher Thomas, he had some leftover penalties from a couple weeks ago that he ran through too many pit boxes, so wasn't able to qualify here today, but he's still hopefully going to have a good run tonight.
Well, Vincent Arthur brings it down, back down to speed, and it's going to park it and hop out of the vehicle. But there he manages to take second place. Peyton Tulloch continuing around the racetrack. Has already run out of qualifying laps, but enjoying some sampling of the laps out there.
Oof.
And not
pancaked the ball.
Not able to get in a time, just trying to get as much practice time in as he can. I see Blade Timmons attempted a lap. Jacob Gladelich attempted a lap. But those drivers not going to be able to get in a qualifying effort. So with that, it is time to set our grid for tonight's round number 30. And round number
already
2, I can't even believe it. It's incredible how fast this season is gone. The weeks just seem to fly by, but we're in round number 2 of the playoffs, and here it is. Eric Sable taking pole position for tonight, and tonight with the push situation, I believe that it's going to be even less raceable than it's been in previous nights, so qualifying might mean something pretty much tonight. At least you'll be able to start up front for Sable in the JRC Sim team. Next to him, Vincent Arthur, one of our championship contenders. He's already locked in, so he doesn't necessarily need a win, but he'd like to hold on to that lead. Starting in the second row is going to be Blake Hopp. So congratulations, welcome in, Blake. We haven't been seeing you out there much, but filling in the number 3 for Nightmare Motorsports. Getting into that second row, Jacob Malone alongside him for Brian Powell Motorsports. On that third row is going to be going to be Ryan Bird next to Justin Moody. And on the fourth row, Cameron Thompson with Ronnie Norman. Then going to be on the fifth row, Brady Motes will be starting next to Todd Slauson. On the sixth row, Chad Engel and Kyle Rochelle. Seventh row will be Everett Couts and John Cottle. On the eighth row is going to be Nick Geilis and Timmy Harper. 17th, Dakota Hendrickson, and next to him, Blade Timmons. 19th will be Tom Senchek for Late Apex Racing. And alongside him will be Cody Reeder. Josh Conover, I'm not sure if Cody Reeder made it, actually. Josh Conover going to be starting in 21st Jacob Gladelich in 22nd, Cody Height in 23rd, and Peyton Tulloch in 24th. Adam Kulikowski in 25th, Christopher Thomas in 26th, Matthew George 27th, and Jake Christenberry is going to be starting dead last in 28th. But how about
full field?
Absolutely full field. Yes, this is exciting. This is one of the biggest fields that we've had here in the NORA Cup Series. So thanks everybody for showing up tonight. Should be a lot of fun. But also, Christian, really unfortunate that we don't have Cody Reeder making this start, because he certainly showed well last night, taking victory in the trucks, and must have
possibly
been
some internet issues or computer issues. I know Joey Stat's not here due to computer issues. He's on that bubble, so he's going to have to go out and win Bristol, but we are green here at Kansas.
And we're underway. Wow, Arthur trying to hold off Malone there from taking the spot, but Malone will sneak through on the low side. And they're going to race side by side now for that second spot, but Malone gets a little loose there, unable to take the spot. Looking out the back, there comes the 20 by of Blake Hopp, and I believe that is filling in for Brandon Dunford tonight. So
yeah, also a patriotic scheme there for the 20, the public scheme. Nice camo, red, white, and blue.
Absolutely, we'll get already an incident.
Cameron Thompson, I think he saved it. Chad Engel gets collected in it. This is a playoff driver that's still going. Kyle Rochelle, the 19 around. Oh man!
All kinds of drivers collected.
Cameron Thompson.
And still more wrecking. Wow. Well, that was...
There were some words exchanged after that one.
That was quite an interesting one, and Christenberry did make it out of the pits, but I'm not sure if he has actually been able to join the field. So let's take a look and see what happened. This one was crashing for quite a while. We'll take a look up here. I think this is maybe even a little bit late, so we'll back it up here.
Oh, right there.
And I know Cameron Thompson.
Yeah, up there with Cameron Thompson, yeah. He it looks like he drives a little too deep into the corner, gets into, I believe that's Ryan Bird in the 49, gets him sideways and himself sideways, boom, right there. And then they just keep getting loose, keep spinning. Chad Engel gets into the wall, they save it. Cameron's still wrecking, hits Todd Slauson, hits the wall. My goodness.
A lot of drivers involved, including Cody Height. Chad Engel. Did Cody end up making contact with that car?
Yeah, he made contact with that 19 pulling up right in front of him.
Well, we'll go back and we'll watch this from on board Thompson's machine. But, of course, as we look up in front, it looks like Bird just kind of moves down the track to a place that Thompson thought was going to be open, but Bird quickly comes down to cover. And as a result, Thompson into the back of him and then up into the wall.
Yeah, the second wreck happened with, I believe that was the 19 getting around. On board here with Dakota Hendrickson. Let's see what he sees. Goes 3 wide, 4 wide right here.
He doesn't even attempt to slow down for the wreck. Sadly plows right into...
And then still right here, not holding the brakes, comes up, hits Cody Height.
And we'll take a look from Height's point of view, how this all went down. See some wrecking starting to happen up there. Just a big smoke show at that point. Has to slow it way, way down. And the 19 was already drifting up the track and into the trajectory of the 22. Sadly, nothing could be done. Back to the live picture. Number of cars coming down, taking advantage of a stop there under this yellow flag, taking on damage repair.
Yeah, that's super unfortunate there for Todd Slauson. Coming into the Cup Series, I think this is only his third start, gets collected in a wreck on lap 2. That's tough break there.
And sometimes you're snake bit like that. I mean, Christian, you know how it is. You go out there, you try to practice and, you know, do your best. You try to bring your A game, and it just seems like no matter what you do, you get collected first lap, second lap. Why don't we take a look, see what Slauson saw on that wreck? Why not? We have an extra moment here. Oh, there's Cameron Thompson coming down, getting into the side of him.
Yeah, not too much damage, but I mean, any damage that you get with these cars basically kills them.
I think I called them prima donnas before, and I'm still feeling the same. It's interesting.
I'll keep saying it. They need to scrap these cars, man. The next gens, I mean, they are super safe. That is a great thing. But they just drive so terrible, and so many drivers in real life are even saying these are terrible cars. We need to scrap them. So man, let's just go back to the old Gen 4 days. Back, you know, Dale Earnhardt and those days with those cars, man. Those were nice. I
certainly would love to see that. I'd love to see it'd be fun if NORA did a special event or ran a mini series for the 87s. That'd be fun too. But
cool.
You know, what about the car tomorrow? I don't hear any love for the car tomorrow.
That was that year's version of the next gen car. They tried before with this weird configuration with that car tomorrow, and it failed miserably.
Sadly, indeed. Well, welcome to everybody over in the YouTube chat room. Eerily silent, except for Jacob Gladelich checking in with us. We appreciate that. Hello to you. Hope you got us on. You're listening for all of those tidbits while you're out there on the track. But nice full field tonight. 27 cars, I guess. 26. Cody Reeder out of this one, so make that 25 runners. But here we go again. Let's see if we get this one right. Back to green here at Kansas. Vincent.
Really good start there for Sable.
Well, Vincent once again unable to protect that second place, and just as good of a start as that was, here comes Malone trying to push his car to the front. Malone going to take the lead here on lap number 1.
He tried.
He certainly
now Eric Sable takes the lead.
Now, you were talking on Sunday night, Christian, about potential tire degradation if you try to hold that low line too long. Now, with the tight conditions here already, you would think some drivers going to be very aware of that and only use that low line just to make a pass and then get right back up to that high line.
Yeah, I would have said that for Sunday, but now it's, man, I don't know. I tried everything in practice to get my car to work for me, so credit to these guys for not hitting the wall. Because if I was out there, I'd already be in it every single corner. But yeah, I don't know. I think tires are going to be a little bit better on the bottom, if I had to assume, because you're going to let up earlier into the corner. With less throttle into it, you're going to not hurt the tires as much.
Well, we'll certainly find out as the run goes on. Vincent Arthur back into the second spot, takes that spot back now from Jacob Malone. You wonder how long Arthur is going to be content to sit back in second. We'll watch and wait to find out. We're watching on board from Ronnie Norman as he follows behind the top 3 cars. Now pulls back into line, but still a lot of racing being done back here in the mid-pack. Here's Justin Moody in the middle of this. Josh Conover in there. Blake Hopp, Tom Senchek. Number of drivers still battling it out, 2 wide and 3 wide just up in front. See the 15 of Brady Moats in there as well. Racing alongside that John Cottle machine, the number 6 there, as they go 3 wide just in front for a moment. 25 emerges in front. That's Conover. Why am I not
now
surprised to see?
Again.
Conover and Brady Moats, the first ones to attempt the 3 wides. Meantime, up front, Malone has managed to get the position back from Vincent Arthur, so it's now Sable, Malone, Arthur, and Norman. But this is one heck of a battle that's been raging here in the mid-pack. Just up in front of this, Ryan Bird has moved in front of Justin Moody. And how about Nick Geilis now up into the top 5? He must be feeling it behind the wheel of this machine. Wants a little bit of retribution for how things didn't quite work out in his favor last night. It was kind of almost good enough to get into the Truck Series playoffs next round, but just not quite. Actually, probably kicking himself he had to start as far back in the points as he did, but tonight he has a chance to get some owners points and possibly more here. Nick Geilis looking for everything he can get.
Yeah, speaking of owners points, he actually advanced in the owner side of the truck playoffs, but didn't advance in the truck driver points, which is an interesting scenario where one of the trucks that made it to the playoffs in the owners didn't show up at all. So he was able to advance due to that, and so he'll continue racing in the trucks for that, but still battling right now. Eric Sable and Jacob Malone battling for this lead. Sable trying to, Jacob trying to set up that pass on Eric.
Well, and there comes Vincent Arthur down to the low side, pulls it back out. So a lot of these lunges going to be calculated maneuvers for a variety of different reasons. They may or may not be trying to gain a competitive advantage on the car in front. They might be just doing it because the car wants to work a little bit better in that sort of a line through the corner. So we'll watch on to see, but it looks like, wow, Sable slides way up the track. As a result, there comes Malone, almost gets into him. Arthur now slides up the track. There's Geilis has now gotten into 4th. And here comes Vincent Arthur once again, down to the low side.
And this is a really good race for Nick Geilis. We typically don't see him up here except for plate races, but he is having a really good run right now.
Well, like you said last night, a lot of drivers referred to this as the, what did you say? It's the Daytona?
The mini Daytona.
The mini Daytona, that's it.
Yeah, not for these cars, though. You got to brake with these cars. And I don't think I've ever used my brakes at Daytona unless there's a wreck.
Well, certainly it's driving like a plate track and giving these drivers a lot of opportunities to run well in different lines.
There's Geilis to the outside of Vincent Arthur.
Nick Geilis anxious to get up there and get into stage contention.
Did he put someone else behind the wheel of that car? My goodness. He just passed Vincent Arthur. I don't think I've ever seen that in my life.
Well,
Nick's gonna yell at me for that comment, but it's worth it.
He's giving it quite the run. Of course, Nick did have a win in the Truck Series, so, or did he win? I think he won here at Daytona.
Both. Yeah, he won in the trucks and in the Cup at Daytona. He swept it.
He did. He swept the two, so Geilis certainly knows how to do it behind the wheel, but I guess he just must be feeling it tonight. As you see Vincent Arthur retake that position.
Yeah, my worry right now, though, is he might have driven off the tires, as now you see Ronnie Norman get back by him. We know Ronnie, one of the best at tire saving, so he's going to drive back by Nick Geilis here.
Well, and isn't that it when everyone else is out there maybe saving tires and you're like, hey, my car feels great. I'm driving like so much faster than everybody else. I can just make passes with ease. And then after about 5 laps of driving really hard on those tires, suddenly it becomes obvious why everyone else was going a little bit slower, and that is to conserve their tires, wait it out until sort of the end of the stage or the end of the race. Tonight, of course, the stage is coming on 48 and 99, so still a ways to go. 27 laps until the end of the stage. We'll see who can stay up there. But how about Tom Senchek now making an appearance in this top 5 group?
Yeah, good run so far for him. He kind of dove down into that corner pretty aggressively in front of Norman. He's going to try to take the spot now from Guileless, try to clear him here going into turn 1. They're side by side still. I think Guileless going to have the momentum here on the outside. The outside's just put together better for those tires right now.
Great run developing here for a number of these drivers that kind of need it. Senchek, one of those drivers that's on the outside looking in for the next round, the round of 12 for the NORA Cup Series. And
another one of those drivers, Caudle, he's on the outside looking in. He's having a good run here in the top 10 and 8th.
Yeah, this is quite a group back here that's still battling it out. They've been separated a little bit from that front group, but
my goodness, almost 4 wide.
This is some serious stuff. A little bit further back here, Everett Couts, Justin Moody, Kyle Rochelle, Cody Height, Todd Slauson, all in this group. Slauson now gets up into the wall a little bit, so he'll bring it back down, but just up in front, this battle's still going on. 2 wide between Brady Moats and John Caudle. Caudle on the outside in the 6, and there you see the 25 of Josh Conover.
Something to note for this stage. I was told before the race that the fuel strategy is anywhere between about 34 to 40 laps. Around in that area. With the stage being 48, these guys are going to have to pit before the end of the stage, but if they take tires, that's the question, because you can actually afford to take no tires and just take fuel to make it a few laps.
34 to 38, you say?
34 to, I would say, maybe 40 if you really save.
Well, I was looking at when the last was that some people pitted, and the latest ones to pit were Peyton Tulloch and Jacob Gladelich and Chad Engel, all who came in on lap 5. But I don't think that's going to give them enough. Without at least another 1 or 2 yellows, that's not going to give them enough to make it to the end of the stage on the fuel that they have. But Jacob Malone now into second place. Vincent Arthur just about to come up and try and challenge him. Tom Senchek still in this group, and Guileless is going to pit. So Guileless, I guess, splitting the stage in half here, deciding to bring it down onto pit lane under the green flag.
Not a terrible strategy. If he takes 4 tires, he'll be a little bit faster if he goes back out there, because I think the fall off was pretty severe from the first lap of the race under green to right now. These guys are probably about a second and a half off.
Definitely. Well, the best lap for Sable was a 30.96. Last lap 31.79. So we're talking about 0.8 of a lap, but that is still substantial. And that is a very interesting strategy for Guileless. However, Guileless has gone a lap down, so if a yellow were to come out, that would be a difficult call for Guileless, but we'll see how it all works out.
Well, at this point, he's got nothing to lose. He's not in it for points. He's out here for owner's points, so he doesn't really have anything to lose, so why not, flip the strategy as we see a couple more cars now coming into the pits.
Ronnie Norman, one of those cars. Kyle Rochelle, another to come in. Jacob Gladelich comes in, makes another pit stop. While this front group still stays mostly intact, Sable, Malone, Senchek, and Arthur, and then it's a ways back here to John Caudle, about 1.9 seconds. You see just below him on the track, Brady Moats. And there's Josh Conover. Now Arthur responding. So a lot of these drivers recognizing that fall off is key. As Conover also to come in, and Ryan Bird.
I think Brady Moats had an issue. I think he missed the pits because he was down on the apron and then came back up onto the track.
Well, he's still shown in 12th, so he did recover. Fortunate to not make one of those types of mistakes where you wipe yourself out or slow so far down but still can't make it. Here he's going to try it again. See whether or not he can safely get into the pits. All the way down to that very slow 50 mile per hour pit lane speed. I guess 55 miles per hour here on pit lane. Eric Sable in the pits. Jacob Malone, Brady Moats, John Cottle.
Oh, Malone had to back up. Just a little too far into the box there, had to back up, but watch how much time he's going to lose now because of that. Here comes Cottle, who came in behind him. Going to go by him.
You see he was in a little sideways as well. Yes, indeed, 16.40 in the box. About 2 seconds longer than anyone else around him. And that is very, very costly. How about this guy, Timmy Harper? Out there in front now. He's yet to make that pit stop. He did come in on lap number 3, but he will have to surrender the lead before long and take that pit stop.
Tell you what, I keep pestering him about this. He won at Phoenix early in the season, hasn't won since. I keep messaging him and asking him, hey, when are you going to get that next win, bud? Is it going to come here soon? I can't believe he hasn't won in the trucks yet. Last season, or not last season, 2 years ago he raced for me. He's a guy that can win 100%. He could be a threat to win the championship over the trucks too.
He's just got to be in that right zone, and it's like we've seen some of these drivers, notably Vincent Arthur, who just wasn't locked into that winning zone. But also need to make sure that you give yourself a chance to be there at the end, and just kind of like how Ronnie Norman just sort of hovers around that top 3, top 5. He doesn't always necessarily get up there and get that win, but he's on the podium more often than not. And
well, he finds ways to hack into wins. I mean, we had 2 guys get penalized, and he just slid right there to victory lane because of that. So, but no, he won quite a few races earlier in the season. I believe he won, if I'm not mistaken, Auto Club. He was the winner there at Auto Club. So he's got 3 wins on the year, and I think he'll get maybe 1 or 2 more here, if not win the championship.
Well, certainly is a possibility. He's one of those drivers with a chance at holding the great NORA Cup Series trophy at the end of the season. So wins this season, Atlanta Motor Speedway for Ronnie Norman, New Hampshire, and I believe that is it.
Darlington on a technicality.
Yeah, Atlanta. No, Darlington was Vincent.
Well, he got penalized. Remember, it was Dustin Kleba and Vincent Arthur. They both got penalized
earlier in the season.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Sim Racer Hub still has it wrong. Shows the wrong winners there. Shows Kleba still winning that race, but if anybody wants to see a super controversial finish, just go back and watch the Darlington race from earlier in the season. So how's this all working out with this pit stop strategy, you ask? Well, right now, still everybody through the top 7 have not yet pitted. I mean, they did come in earlier under the early caution, but it is Eric Sable who is the best of the rest right now, and he's now about 24 seconds back from Adam Kulikowski. The lap times, last time by 31.84 for Sable, 32.25 for Peyton Tulloch. But how about Nick Geilis? Second in line and only 0.3 of a second back. So Geilis did do a fabulous job of getting in and getting that undercut strategy. He will have a couple of extra laps on those tires. It's like about 4 extra laps. There he goes by Eric Sable. So Geilis feeling it tonight.
If I'm Peyton Tulloch or I'm Cody Height, I'm taking fuel only whenever I take my pit, because that'll save a set of tires for whenever the stage happens here. not only that, but he'll actually be in good position to possibly be in the top 10 still to get some playoff points.
Well, Gillis looks back at Sable, and that is a very interesting strategy call you mentioned. We'll see if any of these drivers decide to do that. There comes Ronnie Norman by Sable, and it looks like Cody Height, 9.60 seconds in the box. So maybe right side tires for him. And it looks like Thompson going to take all 4 as Ronnie Norman starts to close in a little bit here on Nick Gillis, and Eric Sable starts dropping back. Again, you can't forget, folks, every one of these stage points is very crucial. So, certainly for Ronnie Norman, he wants to make sure that he gets maximum amount of stage points here. The next car back would be Tom Senchek, theoretically. However, up in front of him, there's still 3 cars that have not yet come into the pits, and that's Tulik, Vladelich, and Kulikowski. So we wait to see whether they're going to come in and take 4 tires, 2 tires. Here comes Ronnie Norman by on the low side.
Yeah, really good run out of turn 4 there. He's making the inside work right now, but Gillis doing everything he can to hold him off on the outside, using the momentum down the front and back stretch to his advantage. Look how much speed difference he has over Norman as soon as he comes off that corner. He's got to be maybe 3 or 4 mile per hour faster on the exit of the corner.
Well, here's possibly a reason why Gillis and Norman are so much faster, because Eric Sable, 8.62 seconds in the box. So I don't know if he even take right side tires. I don't think
that sounds like a fuel only, saving a set of tires for later in the race. I like it.
Yeah, so that's why he's dropping back a bit, and these two race it out. Here comes Gillis by again. He wants that position back. I think he wants to take this first stage. He says, maybe I don't know if I'm going to be here in the second stage and the final end of the race, but I got a chance at this first stage. So you got to like that, Christian. He's fighting aggressively. He's fighting to try to get the stage win. See whether he can be there at the end. Of course, Ronnie Norman, no easy driver to get around. Vladelich still out there, has not pitted yet. It's amazing he's been able to make it to lap 45. So that would be now 40 laps since he did come into the pits. He's pretty much gone a little bit further than you said was possible under that fuel window. So we'll see whether or not Vladelich pulls it down anytime soon. But there he's pulling it down onto pit road.
To be fair, I did say 34 to 40 laps, and that was exactly 40. Hey, I'm just saying, I'm good at math.
You're definitely good at math, and you're good behind the wheel. We're just lucky to have you up here in the booth as much as you are. Hey, you won here in the trucks, and pretty amazing. We had you up here in the commentary booth, and you weren't down there fighting it out on the track, but we're happy to have you up here, and certainly broadcast much better with Christian Snyder in the booth. Timmy Harper.
I was going to say, it's been an absolutely fun season. The original plan was to run full-time this season, but injury happened. A blessing in disguise happened whenever they got you over here, and I said, hey, can I join the booth? And it's been awesome ever since.
Yes, sir. Been a lot of fun and been quality, and certainly everybody I know appreciates what you bring to the table, what we're doing here at VirtualRacing.Network. As this first stage just about finished, it looks like it's going to be Ronnie Norman who's going to take the first stage victory here, with Nick Gillis going to be in second place, and third place going to go to Timmy Harper, fourth to Jacob Malone, and fifth to John Cottle. And so Norman and Cottle, the only 2 championship drivers in that top 5.
Yeah, still a couple points there for Senchek, Arthur, Moats, and Height. Not as many as Caudle and Norman, but I tell you what, those I think 6 points for Caudle, that's big for him.
Absolutely. A number of these drivers on that outside looking in. So with that, take a momentary break here on VirtualRacing.Network. Let everybody catch up to the pace car and get into the pits, and we'll be right back here. Stay tuned for lots more great green flag action. And welcome back here on VirtualRacing.Network. It's Ronnie Norman who was first in the stage, but Justin Moody did not pit under that caution. Now maybe he'll be in here for this lap, but either way, right now he is shown as the leader. Yes, he in fact is going to pull it down. So Norman going to take the stage win. Malone in second out of the pits. Guyless in third, Timmy Harper in fourth, and Eric Sable will be restarting in fifth place. But Christian, pretty interesting first stage. We saw a lot of drivers racing it out up there at the front, but it's interesting to see that those drivers that were at the front early on, it seemed like they couldn't be stopped. But Sable and Arthur back in fifth and seventh place. Senchek has drifted back a little bit now into eighth. And yet Guyless is all the way up into third. So be interesting to see what happens here in this second stage and whether we can see Arthur and Sable move back up to the front.
I want to know what Nick's pregame plan was coming into here, because whatever it was, it worked. This has got to be the best run he's had so far this season, sitting up here in third place. I'm really impressed. Genuinely happy to see that number 3 car up in the top 3.
Well, is this the part you start to get scared and you look around and you say, wait a minute, I'm where on the track?
It's also the part where the broadcast curse can sometimes come in, and hopefully that does not happen.
Well, we didn't talk to anybody this time.
Not yet.
We will after the second second stage, but yeah, we didn't curse anybody yet. So fortunate for Guyless and Ronnie Norman especially that we didn't decide to talk to them. But we still got the curse in us. So we'll see. Whoever wins the second stage, you have been warned.
Well, as long as you don't go around saying, I think we're going to go green to the end, we won't have any spoilers at all.
Do you think that I would say something that ridiculous, Christian? Really?
Absolutely not. It's not like you haven't said it 10 times so far this season.
It was sort of wishful thinking more than an actual prediction, but yeah, certainly it's nice when they do go green, a lot when they go green like to the end, because we do get a chance to see the whole race play out the way that these guys have put it together in their cockpits, and you don't just have it all chopped up by yellow flags. But whatever it is, that's what you got. If there's 20 cautions, everybody's got to play by the same rules, so you just try to end up taking advantage of those cautions if you can. So with that, here we go again. Buckle up for stage number 2. We are underway once again here at Kansas. Whoa! Did you see that? It looked like Sable got into Malone there. And Harper
trying to give him a little push there.
Yeah, for real. There's Malone on the outside.
Oh!
He gets into
Yep,
the Gylus drifts up and into Malone, and Tim Harper is wrecking.
Brady Motes as well.
Brady Motes. Harper and Motes have a coming together as Harper got loose after that and had nowhere to go. Christian, you're going to have to definitely help break this one down. This was kind of crazy. I don't even know where this started.
Jacob Malone and Nick Gylus, because they are yelling at each other currently. So I would believe it's them.
Man, it'd be nice if I could get that AI thing to work. Maybe we'll get that working some night. Okay, so let's take a look at this replay here. Back this up. As soon as we can possibly get to it. Here we go.
Oh, they're going at it right now on track.
I did see that. We'll go back to the live picture because there's something going on here between Malone and Harper.
Well, it was actually Gylus. He came up and gave a shot to Malone because when we watched the replay, it looked like Malone just kind of pinched Gylus pretty tight here and pulls him up the track right there. Comes down, hits him, and then Gylus just runs up the track.
I mean, I don't know. Did Gylus get locked into him? And then
I think Malone came down a little bit and just kind of pulled Gylus up into the wall.
I want to take a look at something. What happens to Ronnie Norman?
I don't think anything happened to him. I think he's okay. Yeah, he's okay. Or not.
I think he might have been looking in his mirrors and seen that happen behind. I had to check that out because I saw him go off, and I wasn't sure. But in fact, he did have a big issue.
I think he lifted or something, and it snapped to the left. But I would love to see maybe Malone's in-car to see if he's turning down into Gylus.
Well, first let's take a look here at Gylus, and then we'll look at Malone on the reverse.
He gets a door right there, and then just, he can never turn it back down off of him.
He's trying to turn it to the left. He just gets hooked on him, and it's something that happens in iRacing. I've had my car get hooked on a pit wall. You can get hooked on other cars.
I tell you what, I feel for Gylus. I know why he's so upset because, I mean, he's up here having one of the best races ever, and Malone just comes down, doors him, pulls him into the wall. Man.
I don't think either one intended for this to end up in a wreck, let's be fair, but, you know...
Yeah, but, I mean, there's a time and a place to run this aggressively. It's not the first lap of stage 2. That is not when you should be running this aggressive.
A look from Cameron Thompson on board. See this wreck happen up in front. Absolutely nowhere to go. Just manages to miss.
Yeah, unfortunately, Harper and Brady Motes unable to miss this one.
Looking on from Brady Motes' point of view, as Harper was in the middle of a 3-wide battle there for a moment.
Let's see. Oh, Harper just goes sideways, can't save it, and then Motes almost goes over. Woo!
Luckily,
he's going to need a change of pants, change of underwear. My goodness.
And now we'll take a look here at Harper, excuse me. Let's see what it looked like from the 12 machine.
First of all, really good run on Sable there.
He did have an excellent run. Unfortunately, that machine is not as pristine as it once was.
Whoa. He tried. I think he would have saved it if Moats wasn't there.
Malone,
but man, did
really
you see how high he got?
He did. He almost went over. That was something else. But back to the live picture, and there's Malone running at the tail end of the field. Fortunately, still on the lead lap, as is Brady Moats.
Yeah, he did take credit for causing that accident and took the penalty to go to the end of the line. So, yeah, I don't know what to say about that one. That was just aggressive racing in the wrong time of the race.
Well, Bomboni-tastic checking in for Let's Go Harper Motorsports. This is Anthony Campbell. Hey, welcome to the broadcast, Anthony. Great to have you here. It's, certainly, we always enjoy your antics during Icon, and we'd love to see you in NORA someday, but this is a great race that's been going on, and no, my boys, yes, it did get a little crazy there. And it's funny how quick, as we're back under green here at Kansas, it's funny how quick it goes from everybody running safely and all together to just absolute chaos. Like, there's cars going everywhere. Ronnie Norman back in the lead. Vincent Arthur, how long did it take for him to get back up there into second? Not long. He just kind of waited it out and waited for everyone else to crash, and now he's up there. Eric Sable back in position to try to take advantage. Gladelich and Kautz now racing side by side for that fourth spot.
I know Vincent and Ronnie are teammates and good friends, but man, they're going to battle every single week until this championship. Those two and Dustin Kleba, those three, they're going to battle like it's the last race every single race right now.
Well, that's the best news possible, though I'm not sure that it matters so much as we see Bird and Senchek, teammates there. Now Rochelle getting into this mix. Three-wide battle right now between these three. Couch, Senchek, and Bird mixed up in this.
It tightened up there on entry, but they were able to make it work here. Oh, Senchek almost came up into John Cottle. Conover going underneath Kyle Rochelle. Now's the time to make moves. The easiest time to pass is on these restarts. Once it starts getting single file, it becomes hard to pass.
Well, certainly we watch on as they continue to battle, just as you've said. Couch holds it on the low line and gets underneath Cottle, starts drifting up the track a little bit. Wow. Crossover there from Josh Conover getting in front of Kyle Rochelle.
He's going to try it on Kautz now, going underneath him. Good run down into the corner.
Great run from these drivers, just trying to square things up. How about Vincent Arthur now taking a look on the outside? That's going to give Eric Sable the chance to join him on that outside line and try and get by Ronnie Norman. So the flatline teammates swap position. Arthur out front here. And I was just going to say, you know, for Norman to hang back in second place and once again play tail gunner to Arthur, at least until the end of the stage or until the end of the race, is not necessarily a terrible thing. You don't necessarily need to fight it out every lap and go side by side. Possibly can. It's
almost like we've seen him do this before. Might have been last night with the guy who's behind him.
Exactly. Yes, we do see this frequently. The tail gunner position often occupied by Ronnie Norman, but
yeah. Tonight, though, those two are not teammates. I know it will say JRC Sim here for Eric Sable, but at last minute he switched over to Ready to Wreck for Brady Moats. So he's not friends with Ronnie out there on the track tonight.
Well, make sure we get everything all updated. Love it when everybody lets us know here in the booth that that's what's happening. But Ronnie Norman still looking on the low side of Eric Sable here, trying to get by.
Sable does get by Norman. Now he can possibly set his sights on Vincent Arthur. I was hoping to see this battle coming into the night. I knew Sable was going to be running in the Cup Series, and he's very quick in the trucks. I wanted to see how he could do in the Cup, and with Kleba out, I thought Sable and Vincent would be the two battling, and sure enough, here they are, 1-2.
1-2, no surprise. Vincent Arthur, he won last week. He's back out there in front. So we're very quickly clicking off the laps here in Kansas. Staying green through a lot of this right now. Lap number 66 of 160. Of course, the stage will be at lap number 99, so still a ways to go, including a pit stop yet to happen. Right now, Vincent Arthur leads with Eric Sable in the second. Ronnie Norman in third place. Ryan Bird in fourth. Jacob Gladelich in fifth place. So Gladelich having a really nice run here tonight. Getting himself up there into the top five, and we'll see whether he can hang there for the duration of this stage. John Cottle also having a good run, now up right next to, right knocking on the door of that top five. Possibly we'll have a shot at it here before too long. Ton Semchek has been up near the top five for a good deal of this race already, but he's still holding on in seventh. And by the way, Gladelich up 17 positions so far. Semchek up 12. 13 for Conover right now. And Cody Height back here in ninth place. He's up 14 positions. Everett Couts. Wow, look at the action behind Couts as they go three wide just behind. That's Rochelle, Timmons, and Slauson now three wide. And you see Nick Geilis looking on.
Slauson doesn't care that he's got a right side damage. He's out here, he says, I don't run this series much, so I'm going to give it everything it's got. And he's doing a pretty good job so far with that right side damage.
Well, they're just outside that top 10, and Kyle Rochelle now able to get up into 11th, taking a look at Couts on the low side, possibly going to take that 10th spot, be back looking at a strong top 10 potential for the evening.
Oh, looked like Timmons wanted to get around the outside of Rochelle, and Rochelle blocked him into the wall there. Oh, now Slauson gonna do it to him. Oh, man. He was clear. I mean, he told him either hit my bumper or slow down.
Well, Slauson makes that move and manages to hold on to the spot. Sometimes it ends in tears.
Yeah, that's a familiar logo there.
It is indeed. Appreciate all the signage there from Snyder Graphics, putting the word out there to all of these virtual fans up in the stands. I mean, sold out once again, Christian. This is 30 races in a row. They have packed the stands for the NORA Cup Series. We appreciate all of these.
Standing room only.
It is standing room only. In fact, if you look, there they are standing alongside the track.
That's the Ronnie Norman fan club. They didn't have any seats.
Well, Ronnie didn't want to pay for the seats.
He pays too much already.
He does. He's like, there's a broadcast. What else do you need? So he got him general admission tickets, and you know, they all showed up thinking they'd have a seat, and they got no seats. They got to sit with the gnomes.
How did I know you were going to bring that up? The gnomes are everywhere.
I mean, for anybody who's actually been to some of these races, that it's not far from the truth. You buy a GA ticket, it does not necessarily get you a grandstand seat. So, you know, or there's like one GA grandstand and the rest are reserved, and it's like the GA grandstand is full. So anyway, back to it here. The FanDuel ticket, that they've got like a whole bleacher set aside just for the FanDuel employees, and so Ronnie taking care of that for them, setting aside an enormous amount of space for all of the families to come out here and Watch the NORA Cup Series playoffs going on as Ronnie is now in second place. Eric Sable in third, John Cottle in fourth, and now we've got Gladelich trying that undercut strategy that Nick Geilis pulled off so successfully in that first round.
Brakes.
Speaking of which, guess who else has decided to come in? He said it worked the first time. Why not do it again? Here's Geilis back in the pits. We'll see whether...
Yeah, for being involved in that last wreck, that car looks pretty clean. So luckily he was able to sustain just very little damage in that wreck, and he's going to still continue to have a good run here, maybe a top 10 night for Nick Geilis.
Well, certainly, and sometimes it's no harm, no foul on some of these incidents.
You know, speaking of FanDuel, I would have put, if you would have told me Geilis would have been running up front, I would have put him at about maybe 5,000 odds, plus 5,000.
Yeah. Well,
he'd be a good one to bet on.
He would be. That would be something cool. That would be great to get going. I know you can do that on Twitch. I don't know if you can do that on YouTube, but it would be nice, wouldn't it? People could bet on their favorite driver and have winnings and be almost like fantasy. That would be a lot of fun. Cottle, Kulikowski pulling it down onto pit road to take their tires and fuel for this pit stop here.
Cottle slid the box there a little bit. Gonna waste a little bit of time there on the stop. He's gonna get going. I don't think I saw the right sides come up, so I think he took fuel only.
Back to it. Yeah, Geilis, 7.45 seconds, so I don't think he even took right sides, just fuel only. Cottle, 19, is that right? No, looking at the wrong line. That was Cody Height. Cottle, 8.63 seconds in the box. Gladelich did take 4 full tires, so 15.23 seconds in the box. And we'll have to see what the difference in lap times is, because that is a lot of time to give up. That's, 7 seconds on the track. That is quite a lot, but if you're half a second to a second a lap faster, it certainly would make up the difference. So right now, Arthur turning a 31.81, which is still a very respectable lap time. And Gladelich, a 31.36. So about half a second faster than Arthur was, and Arthur, now seeing that, is pulling into the pits. Conover as well pulling into the pits. So now we'll watch and see what these drivers do. We'll get that track map back up there for you so you can see where your favorite driver is at. And of course, we haven't mentioned it, but it's pretty obvious by now, and if you've been watching along here on VirtualRacing.Network, you know already, but the yellow drivers are, of course, the championship drivers in the field, so you can follow along quite easily, both on the track map and on that ticker on the left-hand side. Eric Sable, Tom Senchek, and Todd Slauson now pulling their machines down into the pits. So taking a look at Vincent Arthur taking on 4 full tires. So
I'm kind of surprised that Ronnie Norman's still out there at this point in the run. I would think he would be pitting.
You would think so, and again, it might, because of that undercut also, it might behoove you to come in earlier if you're going to take the 4 tires. If you're going to just take fuel only, I guess it doesn't matter too much when you come in. It's about the same thing. It doesn't make it really any difference. So you could stay out there until the end if you're just going to take fuel only. But if you're going to take 4 tires, it definitely would be best to come in the earliest and get the maximum amount of time out of those 4 tires and take the maximum amount out in the undercut strategy. Ronnie Norman holding on to a lead over Kyle Rochelle. Cody Height there is actually a lap down. And, Cody actually, I've noticed he's kind of had some issues lately. It hasn't worked out in Cody's favor. It seemed like he had a streak where he was Mr. Top 5 for a while, but it's kind of not been working out so great as of late. How about Brady Motes now up into third? He's yet to make that pit stop. Tim Harper also now sitting in 4th place. He's yet to make that pit stop. Christopher Thomas back here in 5th place. Same deal. So you've got to go back to Sean Cottle, who is actually the first driver in line after making that round of pit stops on lap number 76.
Yeah, these guys that are staying out now, their only hope is that a caution comes out within the next few laps because they will need to pit here soon. So, I mean, if it does happen, these guys are going to put a lot of people a lap down and kind of flip the script for this race. So I like the strategy, but if it doesn't work out, I don't like it.
Well, what did we just see here? This was a moment ago with Eric Sable. How about this? Sable out through the grass. Gets into a banging match there, and he does save it. Quite a wild ride there for Sable. Manages to save it and bring it back on, but that
he pulled a Ricky Bobby. He told himself, hold on, baby Jesus, it's about to get bumpy.
Here comes Vincent Arthur on by. Now that is the 4 fresh tires to John Cottle's no tire strategy. And it's
like a sitting duck out there.
It's definitely no contest. A full second, over a second a lap faster right now for Vincent Arthur. Ryan Bird, as you can see, now closing in on Vincent. And this is for the virtual lead of the race. So Ryan Bird has made up some significant ground here. Now in 2nd place virtually, as Jacob Gladelich is also up there as well in 3rd place. And again, he took on tires. So it's definitely looking like the tire stops are worth it for these drivers.
For sure. 4 tires. I think I said before the race, every time the caution comes out, you're going to want 4 tires. And even splitting the stage in half, you want 4 tires, because after about 15 laps, these tires are just destroyed.
So Ronnie Norman continues to stay out there. His lap times are 32:31, and Vincent Arthur last time 31:17. So this is going to be quite hefty. In fact, right now, if Norman were to pit, I mean, he's going to be well back in the order, so he needed to pit a lot earlier because you're looking at a gap of 34 seconds to Vincent Arthur, and you're looking at, I mean, even if he takes no tires, it's still 37 seconds down pit road, so he's going to come out 3 seconds back of Arthur by the time he comes back out. And that goes for all the rest of these drivers who haven't yet pitted. Brady Motes, Christopher Thomas. Motes is going to bring it down onto pit road. Actually, Motes disconnecting. Nope, there, he's back. So not pulling it down onto pit road, just showed that he had for a moment. Thomas still out there. It's a beautiful paint scheme on that Full Send Motorsports machine, though.
It's one I'm pretty proud of. I don't know, what made me make it, but it does look beautiful out on the track.
It's just, it's so multicolored, and pretty cool with the sponsor logo in there and the number. There's just something really designy about it, but it looks really slick out there on the track. Thomas doing what he needs to stay out in front of this one, but unfortunately, you see Matthew George pulling off into the pits. He's going to be a sitting duck here, 23 seconds ahead of Vincent Arthur, who is closing in very quickly as we get close to the end of this 2nd stage. And all these drivers don't have enough fuel to make it to the end, so they are going to have to pull down and get into the pits before too long. Or is Thomas just going to try to pedal it? I mean, I don't think there's enough to be able to save it. He might just be trying to clear a gap. to be able to get into the pits. I'm not sure, but Blake Hopp taking over the lead for Nightmare Motorsports. There's that very patriotic Publix machine. Goes sliding on by. I am wondering whether or not Thomas is just trying to pedal it, as it looks like Hopp is not going to pull it down into the pits. You have to wonder, 3264, it's not quite slow enough to really pedal it. He'd have to be doing it at like a second or two a lap slower right now, and I still don't know that he would save enough fuel, Thomas, to take the stage victory. But either way, here comes Arthur on the track. He's going to pass Hopp in the pits. Bird in second, virtually, and Senchek. You see Bird has dropped a long ways back of Arthur, by the way, but Senchek now the virtual third, and Vladelich in fourth. Thomas going to pull it down to the pits, as is Justin Moody. So that leaves just Tim Harper and Peyton Tulloch up in front of Vincent Arthur right now.
I didn't hear who it was, but someone got a pit road penalty, and it cost them a good bit. I'm thinking maybe Cody Heights or possibly Brady Moats, one of those two, because I see that they're a lap down and they should be up here with the others. So possibly one of those two having a pit road penalty here early in this race. I think this is an okay time to have a penalty. I know essentially there's no good time for a penalty, but if there was, right about here is a good time for it.
Kulikowski also lapped down there, not really sure. Let's see if we take a look at the pit road times. That doesn't really give us any indicator, unfortunately. But as we get close to the end of stage number 2, look who's finally made it out there on the track. Championship driver himself, Jake Christenberry, shows up and takes the 23 out for a drive.
Yeah, he had some family matter to take care of before this one. And obviously, family comes first before virtual racing, and he's out there now. He was able to take care of everything and get back out there, but obviously health and family come first.
Certainly. Priorities. Very important in this day and age. Lap number 97, Peyton Tulloch going to pull it in. I just really thought somebody, because, I mean, there's still 12 seconds to go. If somebody had just really pedaled it and, I mean, just, clutched and coasted, I do wonder if somebody could have pulled those extra 2 laps out. I mean, I'm sure some people were trying.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I was on board with Tim Harper there, and he actually was clutching his car. And I do just want to clarify, I went back and looked. It was Cody Height. He had an illegal entry to pit road and had to come back in. So Cody Height, he's going to be fighting his way back through the field after going a lap down here. But I believe that this should be the last lap, if not already.
This is actually, now we're about to hit the caution. There we go. So Arthur, Senchek, Bird, Sable, and Gladelich, your top 5 here at Kansas in the second stage. Arthur taking the win. Congratulations to him. Senchek and Bird also playoff contenders. So with that, we're going to step away for just a moment and gather ourselves. We'll be back on the other side with an interview and the rest of round number 2 of the NORA Cup Series 2023 playoffs. Stay tuned. welcome back here on VirtualRacing.Network. It was thrilling couple of first stages here, but Vincent Arthur is pretty much the car to beat. Is he going to be able to hold on? Well, the guy who's in second place may have something to say about it. Now he joins us here live on VirtualRacing.Network. Tom Senchek, congratulations on that second place there in stage number 2.
Yeah, feels good. Car feels fast. Definitely long run car for us tonight. We dropped back, not on purpose, but when we do, we seem to charge our way through, ride the bottom, save a little tire. But there just wasn't enough time there to catch Arthur. He was pretty quick on the long run as well.
Well, both you and Brian are looking pretty strong out there. It's got to feel good to have some good team support out there. And you guys talking about it? You formulating a plan for attacking the end of this race?
We got some strategies, but with all the cautions and stuff that comes out, we're not exactly sure. We definitely kept one in the back pocket there and didn't take tires in stage 1 just in case there was a caution at the end. We think that'll help us, but with not that many yellows, we're not exactly sure if that's going to be the case or not.
Well, how's it feeling? Is it are the tires? I mean, is it feeling tight out there? How does the car feel overall? Is it pretty neutral? Is it the way you like it?
Feels like it has a lot of grip. Yeah, you definitely got to ride this one on the front right, because even if you try and get it loose, it's kind of difficult too. The only time it gets loose is on cold tires on the first few laps, but if you could survive like the first 2, pretty much grips up, and you could just rail it on the outside of 1 and 2 and rail it on the bottom of 3 and 4.
Well, it sounds like you're very happy with it, so we'll let you get to it. And hey, there's a big spot for you in Victory Circle over there. It's been calling for you all season. You think we might see you over there tonight?
I hope so. Pop some champagne.
All right, sounds good. We'll talk to you after the race.
Have a good one.
So that is Tom Senchek, driver of the number 26 for Late Apex Racing. And Vincent Arthur just up in front of him, going to be restarting in the front here for the third and final stage of the race. Again, 160 laps here tonight at Kansas. Christian, what are we looking at here for this final stage? What have we learned so far?
Well, we've learned that tires are everything. Vincent Arthur was one of those guys that took 4 tires there under that caution mid-stage, and he was able to work his way back up here. But now we got a situation where it's going to be about, I want to say 57-ish laps. So you're going to want to split that directly in half, and you're going to have to take 4 tires if you're going to want to win this race.
Yeah, we saw how much drivers gave up by not taking 4 tires. I think it's pretty essential, but here we go. We're ready to go. And the green flag is out. We are underway once again here at Kansas. Field flies under Barney the flag man. Eric Sable moves into second place. Tom Senchak falling back to third. That outside lane just not the one that you want to be in for these restarts. Ryan Bird files into fourth place. A little bit further back, there's Todd Slauson. He's now up into 6th. We've got lots more side-by-side racing back here, almost 3 wide. Cottle on the outside, and there's the 42 of Timmons as well. And you see Brady Motes getting back into this mix, so it looks like everybody back together. The only one that really suffered here in the last stage that's been put back is Cody Height with that penalty. So he'll have to come forward as we see some wrecking up in front, and I believe it's Todd Slauson involved. The yellow flag does come out, and Slauson recovers.
Oh. Watching the replay, and he got tagged, gets sent around. He had some help.
Well, let's see who helped him. As we jump overhead here, Mr. Slauson moves up to the high side. There's 7. Vladelich just touches him there in the rear. It's one of those things where Slauson drifted up high and came back down, and I don't think Vladelich had necessarily planned for that trajectory in front of him. But fortunately, it doesn't look like Slauson took anyone else with him on this voyage.
Oh, man, and unfortunate for Todd Slauson, that left front tire is broken. It is facing the wrong way.
No kidding. I mean, that didn't look like he touched the wall very hard.
Now, he got absolutely pancaked by Kyle Rochelle as he came down the track.
Really? Well, let's back this up and take a look. Is there damage to Rochelle's machine, I wonder?
Yeah, you'll see him come into frame here.
There.
Boom, right there.
Absolutely.
And that wheel is pointed to the right,
Well, let's take
which is not good.
Let's take a look at first what Gladelich saw from on board. Kind of looks like Gladelich lifts and tries to steer out of that, but there's just nowhere to go.
Yeah, obviously it wasn't intentional. He just kind of overdrove the corner, got really tight on exit, tried lifting to keep it off of Todd because Todd also had an issue where he had to lift, but just unable to and made contact with him. But now we ride on board here with Kyle Rochelle. He sees the spin happening, goes low. Oh, man.
Who is that on the low side? I believe was that Timmons? Who just gets by. I think it was Timmons. Let's check this out from Timmons' point of view here. He's got Brady Motes in his rearview mirror. There's Kyle Rochelle.
Whoa. Oh, man.
Very close.
He's still well in the car. He comes up the track, almost gets rear-ended there.
Back to the live picture as Gladelich letting some drivers go past as he is taking that penalty there for causing that caution. So to tell our drivers how the NORA rules work, Christian, regarding taking that in-race penalty.
Yeah, so what will happen after a caution is you're supposed to, tell the admins who was at fault. If you take blame for it, you'll take an EOL penalty, which will send you to the back of the field. But if no one takes blame for it under caution during the race, it'll be reviewed after, and the penalty will be enforced after the race, which is much harsher. It is an EOL at the end of the race, which is you can't come back from that.
Well, we wait to see whether he'll be able to come back from having to take himself all the way to the back, but still probably the better of two options, whether you take that penalty or not in race.
Yeah, definitely taking penalties in race is a lot better because the admins can only do so much whenever they're actually in the race here. So if you're honest and you own up to your mistakes and you say, hey, I drove through too many pit boxes, I caused this wreck, I passed this guy below the yellow line at plate races, something like that, the penalty that you take during the race is not as severe as if it would be caught after the race. So these guys do a pretty good job at owning up to their mistakes and taking that penalty. There are some people that will say, I don't think I caused that one. But then whenever it's reviewed, they end up actually causing it, and then the penalty is a lot worse.
Yeah, and I mean, everybody views cause, the word, fault a little differently. For example, official iRacing sees fault quite a bit differently than one league or another league sees fault, but once you get in line with what the rules expect of you as a driver, you can pretty much understand and make that call. Here we go, though, back to it. Just 51 laps remain. Tom Senchek in the lead, Vincent Arthur in second. Senchek steals the show, and Bird just behind. Now two teammates are in first and second, and Arthur has got to come back through that.
Yeah, they were definitely having the hands out the window saying go, go, go for that one. Vincent Arthur going to lose 2 spots there. He's going to have a run here on Bird. Let's see if he does anything with it. Tries on the bottom. Here he goes.
All three of these drivers, championship contenders, by the way, fighting it out right now for position on the track and a potential win Side by side, they are in front. Arthur and Sable now battling it out for position. Arthur dives to the low side on Bird, drives up the track a little bit. Arthur gets a little loose, but brings it back down. Now watch Blade Timmons come in there.
Wow, he's gonna pass 2 cars there. He took it 3 wide, past 2. Now he's underneath Ryan Bird. Let's see if he can make it 3 in 1 lap here. He didn't check up whenever he saw those guys having an issue. He had faith that they were going to save it. Sure enough, they did, and he capitalized big time from that.
Quite a rocket ship for Timmons. Sliding up towards the front now. Up into that 3rd spot, taking it away from Ryan Bird. So here comes Ronnie Norman. He's going to send it on the low side on Timmons. They make contact. Timmons nowhere to go. Norman just somehow squeaks out of that one.
Yeah, Norman's not going to be too happy about that one. He had the gap, and then Timmons just kind of pinched him down and made contact with him. Here he goes, trying it again. I think he's going to get it this time. His blade drops a little further back. He had to get out of the throttle. Now Tim Harper trying to capitalize here. He's going to block Sable up top. Sable going to drive it down low to his Truck Series teammate, Ronnie Norman.
3 wide in the corner once again. Is Cottle on the outside? Does he get pinned there? No, he's okay.
He's going to get to the outside of Timmons here. They're going to be 3 wide here. This is for 4th place.
And Tim Harper stuffs it in there to make it 4 wide for a brief second. Now it clears out and is only 3 wide.
For George Conover.
Conover and Guylis, as well as the 19 of Dakota Hendrickson, involved in that one.
Vladovic had to go the whole way down the track. He was almost in the grass to avoid that one. Good avoidance.
We'll back it up here and take a look at this as Conover caught right in the middle of this one.
I think it might have been with his good friend Nick Guylis here.
Well, there was a lot of movement up in front. Certainly these guys were trying to move around. I think Conover just kind of lost it. I mean, I don't think Hendrickson got into him. If he did, it might have been a net code.
Yeah, he just got loose. That's unusual to see out of that 25, but he just tank slapped it and smacked the wall pretty hard, and then Guylis, trying to avoid it, got into Hendrickson and put him into the wall there.
I see Kristenberry and Christopher Thomas also caught up in this one.
There was no warning at all. Like, he was just driving the corner normal, and then you could see that the wheel just gets light on him, and he turns it to the right and then snaps into the wall.
Well,
that is a weird situation there.
On board with Guylis, of course, he has no idea what's going to happen here. Tries to get by, and he just tags Hendrickson there in front. Wow, very close. A couple of different cars that went by there.
Oh man, Chad Angle.
So a lot of drivers choosing to come down into the pits. This is perfect timing for a number of these drivers as we come back out of break here, out of the replay. 42 laps, Christian. And like 1 or possibly 2 of these laps under yellow. Now, we know that someone was able to make it 40 laps. I believe Gladelich able to make it 40 laps on that first, or on the second stage. So
I think we'll see a couple guys come in this lap or next lap to fill up, just to be 100% sure that they can make it on fuel. So I expect to see pit road pretty busy whenever they get to the 1 to green here. Whew. This is going to get wild here. This is going to be a lot of clutching the car and turning off the engine. We're going to see a completely different style race here.
Yeah, and I would come back down and top off for sure.
Yeah. It is 2 to green, so I think we're going to see a lot of cars hitting pit road this next time by here.
Yeah, if you saw that, I think you would make that call. Yeah, it should be exactly 42 laps, maybe 41 laps when we get back to green.
It's doable.
It is definitely
it's doable, but you gotta be really good at being able to clutch the car, because it does get severely tight whenever you hit that clutch going into the corner, and then whenever you get off the clutch, you got to make sure you have a little bit of gas already in it. That way you don't spin the tires too much with getting too much acceleration.
Well, for everybody watching over in our YouTube chat room, you can now vote who will win tonight's race. Tom Senchek, Vincent Arthur, Ronnie Norman, or Ryan Bird. We got 5 votes in so far. Ronnie Norman, the favorite. So get your vote in now.
Look at all the cars coming in. Tim Harper, I believe, was one of them coming in.
Harper,
Gladelich,
Conover. No surprise to see Conover coming back in. He's up on the strategy. We know Gladelich is watching along with us here. He's already waved to us in the YouTube chat room. So,
I tell you what, Harper doesn't have damage. I believe Gladelich has been in an incident. He has a little bit of right front damage. Harper, I don't think, has any. If he does, it's very slight.
Looks like we just had our own little momentary glitch here on VirtualRacing.Network. Fortunately, everything back together again. Great to have everybody joining us, picking up viewers as we're going along here. This is setting up to be a very exciting end to this race. We've got the top 4 drivers all in championship contention, all want to punch their ticket to get into the next round of the playoffs. Vincent Arthur has already done so. Tom Senchek leads us back to the green on lap number 119. The next question is, there is a couple of drivers in this field who have the fuel to make it to the end if they work some magic. If this stays green, it could be a fuel mileage race. We watch on to find out whether it will be Ryan Bird and Vincent Arthur racing it out for that second place, and Bird taking that position. I think Arthur may have possibly come up and touched the wall.
If he did, it was very slight, not going to affect him. He's actually going to have a huge run on Bird. Almost gets to the outside of Senchek. He has a really good run going. He's still kind of driving it deep into the corner, so he's not clutching it yet.
Well, it's been a long time since we've seen Ryan Bird in victory lane. It's about due. He came in like a flash and took a couple of victories, and now it might be time for Tom Senchek, his teammate, to take that victory, but wouldn't be a surprise to see Bird in victory lane either. Look at it, getting very racy back here. Vincent Arthur now takes a look down the inside of Tom Senchek into the corner, and Arthur pulls it up in front. The old slide job. Senchek crosses over. That slide job not going to hold these late Apex drivers down. They both flash by here on the back straight.
Yeah, whenever you got 2 cars kind of working together there, Bird came down and gave Senchek a little bit of his draft and helped him get by Vincent Arthur there. So we saw it last night. Whenever 2 teammates are working well together up toward the front of the field, it's very hard to compete with them.
Well, you see also Ronnie Norman and Jacob Malone up there racing for position. Now John Cottle pokes his nose into this. How about Brady Moats? He was partially involved in an incident earlier, but Moats now up into this lead group. He's got something to say about this before it's all done.
He was in the air earlier in this race.
I say partially involved. The guy almost took flight. Surprised he doesn't have an American Eagle on the side of that patriotic paint scheme, because he almost took it to the air. But Senchek up in front. Arthur in second, Bird in third, Malone, Cottle, and then Moats. This is your top group at the moment.
Ooh, Cottle tagged the wall there. Very slightly.
Just behind, it's Timmons and Sable racing for position. And now these two continue to battle for position for second place. Kansas really living up to its reputation as a fantastic racetrack for both the trucks and the Cup cars. And it's one of the ones also I haven't seen IndyCar racing on, but I bet you the races would be spectacular here in IndyCar as well, depending on the downforce package. But it races beautifully for both the Next Gen machines and the trucks. So hopefully it's one that we can see these guys visit twice next year, because it certainly provides a lot of great racing action out here. How about Timmons and Sable now racing for that 8th and 9th place? We saw Timmons squeaking up into that top 5 not long ago, but now back here racing with Sable for 8th place. And they have kind of got a gap now up in front of them to that lead group, and it's pretty much growing by the lap. Back here, can you believe Guileless still in this one? He was just in that incident with Conover, but somehow Guileless able to recover. Thompson was involved in an incident earlier on, so the repair crew's doing a great job here in the NORA series, putting some bear bond on these machines and getting it together again. Kyle Rochelle gets loose coming down on and off of the apron and almost wipes out Nick Guileless.
Yeah, he kind of gave him a tap coming into the tri-oval, gave him another tap coming out of it, and then the third one he finally almost went around. So Rochelle just kind of trying to move up the track, thought Guileless would go a little bit higher. He didn't, and made contact. But back up front, Senchek still holding off Vincent Arthur right now. Being that it's so hard to pass, Vincent, he may have a better car or a better feel, but he just cannot get around this 26.
Well, we'll see. White flag is not in the air yet, but we've certainly seen that you don't necessarily want to wait until the last lap. It's a little difficult to really get that pass in there on the last lap, so you're not exactly a sitting duck if you are in the lead position when the white flag comes out. But we'll see whether or not this is the way that it all shakes out. Again, if it stays green, it may not be any of these drivers. It might be Gladelich, for example, back here running 3202s. I definitely wonder if Gladelich is pedaling that car. I really wonder, because this would be the time to get, yes, you don't want to lose too much time, because there is a chance of going down a lap, but you don't necessarily care about going down a lap. You just don't want to lose too much time. You want to just hit whatever fuel number you need to hit, and if you need to do the fuel savings, you kind of want to do that towards the beginning of the race where it's a little bit more manageable and you can make sure you get it a fuel save. But we'll find out over the long run whether Gladelich is able to do it. Last time by 32.19, Christian, Gladelich is going for the home run, but he's got to be super patient, and it's got to stay green flag in order for this to work out.
Yeah, he's trying to make it work. I'm listening on board to see if he's saving fuel or if it might be just a problem with his car. I think it might be a problem with his car because he's not clutching it. So maybe some damage from that earlier incident that he was involved in. Well, we see someone coming into the pits.
That is Moats.
Moats
checks into the pits. There's several drivers on that same strategy. You got Conover, Harper, Gladelich, and actually those are the only cars that came in on 117. So those would be the only ones with a chance to pull off that strategy. And again, they would have to be very, very cautious with their fuel. And besides Gladelich, who was significantly slower for a couple of laps, I don't see anybody necessarily trying to pedal it, but I would be.
Sorry, Sable and Malone Caudle, they were just having the craziest battle just a little bit ago. They were side by side, almost 3 wide. Sable and Malone were. So I'm wondering if there might have been some contact that kind of dropped Malone back, because they were side by side just the last lap there. But now Sable, he's working on getting up to Ronnie Norman here. Might have saved his stuff, and now it's time to drop the hammer.
Indeed. there comes a certain point where it is time to come forward. Of course, still got 24 laps to go. Cody Height in, Jacob Malone in, and Dakota Hendrickson all into the pits right now. Here comes Eric Sable trying to push on the back fence of Ronnie Norman. And wow, Bird and Senchek last second pulled down onto the apron to come into the pits. And here comes Timmons, Rochelle, Kulikowski, and Engel as well down pit lane.
These guys know something we don't. I think they can make it on fuel. I think they'll be fine.
Depends on who you're talking about, but Thomas, Conover, Gladelich, and Harper.
Look, here comes Vince and Arthur pitting too.
The only ones with a chance. Yeah, Arthur came in last on 100, I believe. Thompson and Thomas came in on 115. So 25 laps to go here. It's splitting the stage in half for sure. But Gladelich,
I think Jacob Gladelich is going to win this race. I'm calling it now.
The only thing is, let's see, like last lap, 32.05, but you listened in and you didn't hear him clutching. Now, I mean, I guess maybe it's possible Gladelich doesn't know how to do the mega save and clutch and coast. As Sable, Cottle, and Thompson now pull it into the pits.
I think if Thomas right now, if he starts clutching in that 91 car, I think he can make it to the end. I think 42 is doable.
Well,
we saw a lot of people pit.
He came on 115 though, so that's 45 laps, which is just, in my opinion, too much. Even though the last lap or two were under caution, I think the most we've seen anybody get is 40. And to me, the only people that can pull that off is Gladelich or Harper or Conover.
Conover pit.
But Conover already pitted, yeah. And I didn't see, now I'm seeing Harper 32.2, but now he's back down to a 31.9. So if they were clutching and coasting and giving up, a third to a half a second a lap and saving that kind of fuel that they need to get that extra two laps out of it, maybe. But I just haven't seen them do it. But again, we'll find out. And it would have really behooved them to get a couple of extra caution laps early so that everyone else would have come in and they could have stayed out. But we'll see. We'll see how this all works.
I tell you what, I wish I was out there because I would be clutching it right now. I'd be saving everything it's got. Man. I think that's a missed opportunity on that strategy, honestly.
I do too, but a 31.71 for Gladelich and a 31.86 for Harper. Like I said, we did see Gladelich go 40 laps in the opening stage or the second stage, and so we know it's possible to go 40. To stretch it to 42, again, I'm not 100% sure, but it seems doable because I didn't see Gladelich super coasting, clutching and coasting in that first stage to do it. And you could go even beyond that. I mean, you could just go like half throttle around the track. You got to watch how much you give up, but if it's the last lap and you've got like 8 seconds to give, you can do something like that. As Thomas is having a little blink out session here, but hopefully going to get it back together. And Arthur just about to unlap himself. Gladelich still holding on to second place. Tim Harper in third place right now. They, as we mentioned, those two drivers, as well as Christopher Thomas, yet to pit. Harper and Gladelich coming in on 117. And like I said, I think they came in on 117, and then there's always like one more lap. So I'm pretty sure they didn't get going again and restart until 119. I can actually back it up and tell. 118. So it was the very next lap that they went back to green. So we'll just have to see who's on the strategy to do super save. Will it be Christopher Thomas, who continues to blink out here? Will it be Jacob Gladelich? Will it be Timmy Harper? any one of these three could possibly do it on a fuel save strat. The best of the rest right now is probably this guy, Blake Timmons, who did not take tires, it would appear, on that pit stop. And that's why he is in front of Vincent Arthur right now. But that time is coming down quick. Arthur's got it down to about 1.5 seconds. And again, he's slashing into that lead very, very quickly. 31:18 last time. And actually Timmons, very similar lap time, but nevertheless, it is down to a 1.40 second gap at the moment. So we'll see how this works out over the long run.
Real quick to update, Tim Harper, he has started clutching that car. He is in full save mode.
He's finally realized it. Somebody's finally gotten to him and told him. Speaking of which, we're a little late for it, but it is just under 20 laps to go here. Of course, brought to you by Snyder Graphics, facebook.com/Snyder Graphics. Your home for your car livery. Any sort of livery that you want. He's even done it in the past for, or is it this paint scheme? Did you paint this paint scheme here for Vincent Arthur?
No.
Okay, but you've done it in the past for Vincent and a number of other cars and trucks on the grid. Saw the commercials earlier on. Any sort of a dream can come true. Just head on over to facebook.com/Snyder Graphics. Get your livery for your iRacing machine today.
Should note that is an X instead of a CS.
Yes.
I wanted to be fancy with it, you know?
It's super fancy. That's how we know you, Christian Snyder.
Tell you what, Gladwich is starting to catch Christopher Thomas here. Thomas, I think, started saving it now. He's starting to clutch it as well, I think. So, as much as I want to say that one of those three are going to win, Vincent Arthur is catching them. I mean, 14 to go. He's got to make up about 14 seconds on Tim, about 20 seconds on Gladwich. So
yeah, he's gonna.
It could be possible.
He's gonna do it on Tim. There's no question. And he's going to eventually pass Blade Timmons on the track as well. But he will reach Tim Harper. Unfortunately, I think these guys didn't start fuel saving until it was too late, because they could have done it with, if they had done it earlier, they could have taken less time per lap off, and as a result, they wouldn't have given up quite as much time. And then possibly at the very end, they might even still have some in reserve. But with 12 laps to go, it's under 12 seconds up to Tim Harper.
My goodness, I just hopped on board. If you hop on board with the 91, he is clutching it the entire corner. Like, if we go on board, you can see the RPMs, you can hear the engine. Here, watch this next corner. He is going complete full save mode.
Well, and as a result, it was still a 33:27 for him. So, I mean,
it's doable.
It is totally doable. I just, as I said, the same thing. It would have been even more doable if these drivers had maybe tried a little bit more aggressive of fuel saving earlier on. But we'll see whether or not any of them can pull it off. It would sure be exciting to see. Blake Timmons is still 18 seconds back on the track, and Vincent Arthur is 19, so he's got a lot of time to give up in the last 10 laps.
I think my pep talk before the race really lit a fire underneath Chris Thomas. I was joking with him, and I said, hey, that 91 car is the highest up in owner's points. You gotta get going. And he was like, I'm trying my best. And I was like, well, your best isn't good enough right now, bud. And I think that lit a fire under him. He's out here in the lead. I like to see it.
Well, you're one of those drivers I could take off my list.
I can be nice. I can be a nice owner, but we still don't have a win this year. You know?
Absolutely. No, well, he's on that alternate fuel strategy. We'll see if he can pull it off. Here's Gladwich doing the same thing, trying to save as much fuel as he can, make it to the end. 9 laps to go, 14 seconds back to Vincent Arthur, who has now gotten around Blade Timmons, and now they race on. So this is going to slow down Arthur a little bit if Timmons wants to race him. If
Yeah,
they don't,
Timmons has started going now. He saved fuel, but now he's kind of just doing the letting off early, not really clutching it, because he's starting to catch back up to Gladelich now.
yeah, Timmy, about a 6-second gap between the two of them. We'll see whether or not he can hang on until the end. Again, Gladelich and Harper in the best position. If Thomas can make it, Gladelich and Harper can certainly make it. Now we look back here as Ryan Bird into the 6th spot. Here's Eric Sable and Ronnie Norman. Norman all over the back of Sable. This is for 7th position on the track. But
We're about to have a battle for the lead. Gladelich has caught Christopher Thomas now.
here comes Gladelich as Thomas continues to need to save fuel again.
Oh, there goes Thomas.
And Thomas decides, I'm just not
He's
going to
out.
quite make it. Decides to pull it into the pits. Can Gladelich make it? It's a full 12 seconds back now. Harper is still in danger of getting caught, but the way that Arthur had to fight Timmons for a few laps, it looks like it's not quite as much of a danger as it once was. 4.5, he'll still get caught, and that time is now coming down real quick. 4 seconds, now under 4 seconds, 3.8 seconds or so. And you're going to see Vincent Arthur start to pop up in the background very quickly on that Tim Harper machine.
Well, now Tim Harper, he has a teammate to help him. If he starts running out of fuel, Cottle can push him down the straightaways and he can save fuel.
Yes,
That's what they're doing. Look at this. Have you ever seen anything like that before?
Well, Cottle is basically out of competition now, back in 21st place, so he's going to try to supply some extra fuel here.
This is incredible.
I've never quite seen anything like this, but this is teamwork at its finest, as Cottle
More
has
to
joined
go.
the fight here at Harper Motorsports. Let's listen in. Really tricky to get the bump drafting just right. I want to do it too hard in the corners. Jacob Gladelich has pulled it into the pits. So that just leaves Tim Harper out here to try to somehow get it done, and it does not look like he's got enough to do it. Cottle drifts up the track with 3 laps
Harper's
to
gotta
go.
go.
He can't. He's still got to save fuel to make it to the end, as he's fully committed to this strategy.
Oh, he's on the loud pedal now. He sees Vincent. He's got to go. Even if he runs this thing dry, he's got to go.
Well, it's going to be 2 laps to go, this time by at the stripe. And I don't know if he's got anything in the tank to make this one. We knew it was going to be quite a stretch to get that extra couple of laps out of it, but
He's out. He's out on the
out of
backstretch. He's out of fuel.
Indeed. Rough go for Tim Harper. Runs out of fuel and tries to clutch it back into pit lane and make it. And that is going to give up the lead here with the white flag out for Vincent Arthur to possibly take victory here in the 2nd week in a row. All he's got to do is make it a couple more corners. The white flag is out. We will not green-white checker this one. The next flag will be the checkers. Eric Sable in 2nd place back here, and Blade Timmons right now shown in 3rd. Here comes Ryan Bird to try to get by Blade Timmons, coming to the line, and it looks like it's going to be Vincent Arthur who takes the win. Bird unable to take that 3rd spot away from Timmons at the line.
Norman 5th, Brady Moat 6th. Kyle Rochelle 7th, Jacob Malone 8th, Cameron Thompson 9th, and Tom Senchek rounds out your top 10 here tonight. But Vincent Arthur, man, 2 races in a row here in the playoffs. He's going to check the box for a win here at Kansas.
He gets a salute from Ronnie Norman behind him, and Bird comes up and gives him a salute as well. Brady Motes joins alongside. My goodness.
Tim Harper's still finishing this race. Here he comes.
There, he did make it across the finish line.
There he
Unfortunately, not in the position that he wanted to be in. We're going to get the final results up here on the screen for you momentarily as Vincent Arthur celebrates his 2nd win in a row. We will be right back here on VirtualRacing.Network. Don't go anywhere. And welcome back on VirtualRacing.Network. What a heck of a finish that was. We thought for a second it could be one of several different drivers who had hit it at just the right time to maybe save enough fuel and make it to the end, and it was very close, getting down to just over 1 lap, maybe closer to 2 laps left to get that fuel win, but unable to do so for Tim Harper. Instead, it's Vincent Arthur who takes a 2nd win in a row and really gives everyone something to think about, as this is another solid performance, and it's, I hate to say it, but early odds-on favorite right now swinging in the way of Arthur. 2nd place, a solid run from Eric Sable, of course, just racing for owner points out there tonight, and Blade Timmons racing for owner points, but great finishes for them. Eric Sable leading that Ready to Wreck racing team to another podium. Ryan Bird in 4th place. Ronnie Norman in 5th. Brady Motes in 6th place. 7th going to Kyle Rochelle. 8th to Jacob Malone. 9th, Cameron Thompson. 10th, Tom Senchek. So we did in fact curse Senchek. He ended up back in 10th, just in case you were wondering. Justin Moody in 11th. Chad Engel in 12th, Kulikowski in 13th, and Cody Height in 14th place. And those of you who made the call in the YouTube chat room that Arthur would win the race, you were right, but that was the minority. Everyone thought it was going to be Norman, but Arthur...
That's no surprise. Norman fan club coming in heavy.
Hot and heavy, absolutely. But to finish this one out, Cody Height, 14th. 15th going to Jacob Gladelich. He tried that fuel save strategy. 16th for Christopher Thomas, also on a fuel save strat. 17th to Timmy Harper, who desperately tried to hang on. He comes in a little short and back in 17th. Conover in 18th. And, you know, Timmy didn't really have anything to lose as well. He's racing for owner points out there, so why not? Josh Conover in 18th. 19th to Peyton Tulloch. 20th to Everett Couch, 21st to John Cottle, 22nd Nick Geilis, 23rd Blake Hopp, 24th Matthew George, 25th Dakota Hendrickson, 26th is Todd Slauson, 27th Jake Christenberry, and 28th to Cody Reeder, who unfortunately didn't make it tonight, and that's a shame because he won here last night. It would have been fun to see him be able to double up, but instead it was Vincent Arthur. And I tell you what, there was another driver out there who we want to talk to him because he really gave it his all out there, and he had one heck of a strategy cooking. Christian, I think we've got Tim Harper lined up to do an interview here.
Yeah, I caught up with him here. He finished while Vincent was still celebrating. But Tim, man, you impressed me out there. I thought you were going to be able to make it. You made it exciting. Was there anything you could have done to save more fuel to maybe get that win, or what happened out there, man?
Well, I made the decision after that caution, and I just decided to risk it all, and I think I needed a lap and a half. But like right at the beginning, I lost like 13 seconds on the leader from saving, and I thought I had got enough, but obviously not. It was just so close, and I tried to get my teammate to push me there to help save fuel, but just didn't make it. So
yeah, that was really cool. Me and Trevor have never seen anything like that. You were saving fuel down the backstretch, having a teammate push you. And I've never seen anything like it, so that was awesome to see. But I mean, unfortunately, you didn't get the win. But still, I mean, it was a good run. You basically got nothing to lose up here in Cup, so I applaud you for trying there. But I just wanted to talk to you and give you a shout out, because I mean that was a very risky move, and we love to see it. It makes it exciting up here.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sitting fourth in the owner's standings with this 12 car, so I figured I'd risk it and might not lose too much. But no, I just, after John, I think he got a penalty on pit road or something, and whenever he said that, I was like, well, hey, help me out a little bit. So, I think if John got to me a little earlier, I could have saved a little more. But it just, like I said, it just didn't work out, and we were fourth in the owners playoff standing, so figured we'd try it.
Well, hopefully within the rest of the season we see you back in victory lane. I know it's been a while since Phoenix, I believe we've seen you in victory lane, so hopefully you're able to get one here later in the year.
Yeah, I'm ready for Phoenix again. Hopefully I'll make it there to be able to try to run for an owners championship, and same as the drivers and trucks. So.
All right, man. Well, I don't know if it was a good job, but it was a good attempt, Tim. So, hopefully you get back in victory lane, and thanks for thanks for being available for an interview here.
Yeah, all good. I'm down for it anytime.
All right, have a good rest of your night there, man.
Y'all too. Thank y'all for the broadcast.
All right, let's get to our second place finisher. Unfortunately, our third place finisher, Blade Timmons, unavailable for comment, but we do have Eric Sable. Trevor, would you like to talk to Eric?
I would love to. Eric Sable, Ready to Wreck Racing. You finished in second place. A wonderful run out there tonight. Gotta feel slightly disappointing, though. I mean, maybe I'm putting words in your mouth, but you were running out there in front. It seemed like you had a chance to get that victory overall tonight. How did you feel about it, and are you satisfied with second place?
Back-to-back second place finishes, I'm pretty happy with it. The number 98 Ready to Wreck Racing Ford Mustang was pretty good all night long. I was getting really handle the handling of this race car. The wind was changing out in 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, making the car rotate and then pushing up in the other turns. But the car was dominant all night long. We led some laps there and stuff around the front. Pretty good.
Yeah, and it all kind of came down to that last green flag for the final stage, and everybody kind of on their own courses as far as fuel strategy. What did you think of the pit strategy here tonight? Do you feel like you made the right calls to get yourself there into second place? Do you feel like you wanted to come in a lap earlier to try the undercut, or how did it all work out for you?
That previous caution, Ed came down and a lot of the leaders stayed out. It took a little bit of time to get through the field from the back, and I shouldn't say back, like mid-pack, but I was able to pass a lot of cars before everybody pitted, so I think that's what brought me up into the top 5 there. But after that last pit stop, the car still felt good, and I guess I still had, good pace because I was passing people on the inside and outside, so there's really not much more I can do different. You know, Vincent runs a good race week in, week out. You know, like I always say, fierce competitors out here in this league. So I'll take P2 and move on.
And certainly it's got to feel good. You jump over to Ready to Wreck Racing, and Brady, despite he practically flew on the backstretch tonight. I don't know if you're aware of that incident, but he got his whole right side up off the ground. So possibly didn't take too much damage, because you and him both end up getting both cars in the top 6. That's pretty good job for the little team Ready to Wreck Racing.
No, absolutely. You know, Brady's always been a pretty good guy, and to let him, you know, he let me come into here on short notice on this number 98 Ford Mustang tonight, and, you know, I appreciate that, you know, on short notice. So I'm glad we can bring home a podium finish here in P2 for him, and, you know, if I can do it more in the future, I'd gladly come into this number 98 Ford Mustang again.
Well, it's great seeing you out here in the Cup Series, and certainly love having you. You add to this great talent pool here in the NORA Cup Series, and look forward to seeing you out there much more in the future. Who would you like to thank for tonight?
You know, everybody, Ready to Wreck Racing, let me jump in here. You know, I always got to give a shout out to my other teammate, you know, Ronnie Dorman, for the Trud Series, and he's a fantastic guy. He takes care of a lot of things, and, you know, VirtualRacing.Network for putting on the great broadcast week in and week out. Snyder Graphics for painting all the paints out here, and, you know, that's about it.
Well, fabulous job tonight. I think not long if you stick around in the NORA Cup Series till we see you in victory lane here in this series as well. And congratulations once again on a run to second. We'll see you next week from Bristol.
Thanks, buddy.
So that is Eric Sable, driver of the number 98 Mustang, now for Ready to Wreck Racing. And Christian, I believe that you've caught up with our race winner 2 weeks running in a row, the driver out of Manchester, Maryland, from Flatline Motorsports, Vincent Arthur.
Yeah, Vincent, I had to run over here because I was just talking to Timmy on pit road, but I ran over to Victory Lane to talk to you here. You passed Timmy coming to get the white flag. Maybe not getting as many laps led as you would have liked, because Tim kind of stole some from you, but you did pass him after he ran out of fuel. So, man, tell me about this race. I think you won stage 1. And kind of never looked back. You had a little bit of an issue there with getting around Tom Senchek for a good majority of the second stage. But tell us about your race, and how excited are you to win 2 in a row here?
Yeah, no, definitely hit my stride at the right time of year, so really happy about that. But yeah, this race was kind of just head down, you know, stay within my own race, don't really care about what the people around me are doing, and the same issues I had here in the spring, they were showing themselves again here, where we kind of just take off really, really tight. And then, you know, at the 3/4 mark, you would have to hit the corner just perfectly for it to be able to turn. And it's easy to burn off the right front, but yeah, I kind of felt it out the first 2 stages, but then once that 3rd stage came and it was go time, obviously I made a little bit of a mistake and gave up the lead there for a second, but honestly, that was probably the best thing that could have happened for me, because I actually learned what I needed to do to be able to be fast and consistent in the cars. So, you know, making the best of a bad situation, and then through the pit cycle there, got on and off pit road really, really good. And yeah, just came away with one. I think it was about 8 laps to go. I looked at my crew chief app and saw that they had been on the track for about 37 laps, and I had been getting around, you know, 36 to 38 per tank. So I was like, there's no way they can make it, right? And then slowly but surely they started dropping, and you know, I thought I had it there, and then I saw Cottle pushing Timmy, and I was like, oh boy, this is gonna get interesting. And yeah, luckily I was able to get past him. I think I would have been able to get him on speed if he hadn't run out of fuel. But hats off to him for trying the strategy. Nearly paid off, man. If we had one last lap, he would have gotten it. So yeah, no, I was really happy to come off with the victory, to get 2 in a row. That's really, really good. And I went hardcore mode today with the gloves and shoes and fire suit. So I'm really hot right now, but it's a good race, and it was a good experience, that's for sure. Yep.
You went full Max Verstappen mode, I think is what Trevor was getting at there. I personally, I do the gloves, but I don't know about the shoes and the fire suit, man. That's...
I just preparing.
Oh, man. I couldn't do it. No way. But, I mean, 2 in a row here. You got Bristol next week, do you think? Possibly? 3 in a row?
Yeah, I mean, we'll have to wait to see if I can get 3 in a row till the week after. I'm seeing Avenged Sevenfold next week, so won't be at Bristol, but I've been waiting since 2018 to see them, so I'll gladly miss a race. But to be able to get locked in early and then finish it, finish my round of 16 off with 2 wins, that's a lot of playoff points that I can carry into to the rest of the playoffs, and yeah, I mean, we know what the goal is here. The goal is Phoenix, so we got our eyes on the target, and we're going to do everything we can to be able to get there.
Well, round 3, kind of an interesting round. You got Talladega in there, which, that's always hit or miss. So what's your plan going into the next round? Is it win early and then be safe for Phoenix, or is it just kind of keep your car in one piece and point your way through?
I mean, obviously the goal is to win, but it's nice to be able to know that if I just have solid races and, just get top 5s and as many stage points as I can, I have enough playoff points to be able to get me through there as long as I don't have anything go tremendously wrong. But I'm going to go out here like I had been the past couple weeks and just with the same mentality, and it's been pretty successful for me. So we'll try to keep this hot streak going, and we got 8 races left until the season's over, and this is probably the most competitive I've ever been in a season of NORA. So try to take full advantage of that, and keep adding to this win tally. I think we're up to 9 now, so we'll see if we can go double digits.
I believe, if I'm not mistaken, we only got 6 races left, so overcounting there, but I mean, it's gone quick, so I understand where it's coming from, where, we still have 8 races left. It's gone way quicker than that, man, but anyone you want to give a shout out to before we let you go? I'm sure you want to get out of the fire suit and cool off.
Yeah, definitely got to thank Pepsi. This is a beautiful, beautiful scheme. Really glad I was able to put them back in victory lane. We've had a lot of success this year, and we'll look to keep it going for the rest of the playoffs. And got to thank Red Bull, Exalta, Chevrolet, everybody who makes this deal go on. Flatline Motorsports, Josh for letting me do this week in and week out. Thank you guys for the broadcast. And yeah, thanks for everybody at home tuning in. And we'll see you next week.
All right, we'll see you in 2 weeks, but
that's right.
Yeah. Good luck the rest of the season, man. Hopefully we see you in Phoenix for that Final Four, and I know we'll be pulling for you and your team there at Flatline.
I appreciate it, boys. Have a good night.
Well, Trevor, let's wrap this thing up and get out of here, man.
This was one amazing race. It kind of had it all. Lots of passing. This is 3rd race in a row here at Kansas that has just been awesome. Like I said, I really hope that this ends up on NORA, both in the regular season and the postseason next season, because it kind of deserves it. But this was just so much fun this week. And next week, my goodness me, we're headed to the best short track around. How about Bristol Motor Speedway? It's going to be Sands, Vincent, Arthur, but so many more will be there. It will be a lot of fun. And Christian, also, I was just counting now. What are you saying? There are 8 races left.
There are? There's no way.
Bristol, Texas, Talladega, Charlotte, Las Vegas, Homestead, Martinsville, and Phoenix. There's 8.
Oh, you know what? Trucks are less.
Yeah, trucks different. Trucks only 6. But here we've got we've got 1 left in this phase. Texas, Talladega, Charlotte in the round of 12, Vegas, Homestead, and Martinsville in the round of 8, and then of course Phoenix. What a great place to finish up. And I think there is just so much more great racing ahead of us here this playoff season. And Christian, this was a lot of fun here tonight. I hope everybody enjoyed it out there. If you're not already subscribed, what the heck are you doing out there? Not getting subscribed? You're missing some of the races. They're just getting by you. You want to get all that stuff right on your dash when you log in. You'll see the upcoming races. It'll even notify you if you click the little notification bell. So make sure you're subscribed to VirtualRacing.Network. And also like this video if you don't mind. It does help to get it out there to other YouTube fanatics who love this iRacing NASCAR Next Gen stuff. So make sure to please like it, subscribe. We will see you Sunday night here on VirtualRacing.Network for our next broadcast of the Icon Cup Series. Until then, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week. Sleep well, everybody. Eat well. Be well. We'll see you then on Sunday. Good night, everyone.